What is going on? Hello, hello. Welcome to the Life in Transitions YouTube channel, Facebook group, streaming on Facebook, streaming on Instagram, streaming on YouTube, and here to hopefully help you with some of the challenges you may be facing as you go through a North Carolina probate. Again, my name is Courtney Rollins. I am the founder and operator of Estate Pro Service LLC, where I'm helping folks make probate and estate planning easier while generating income and wealth primarily through real estate. One of the biggest questions I get or challenges or things that I support people with is actually doing the inventory and the accounting part of a probate process. Let me just take two steps back and say one, I'm not an attorney, nor am I giving anyone not an attorney, nor am I giving anyone legal or financial advice. What I am doing is sharing my experience, and it seemed to help many people out. Love you go to Google, check out Estate Pro Service LLC, check out the reviews. One of the best things about this is the ability to be able to help folks through the probate and the estate planning process just by sharing my experience. And quite often, when there's property involved, I'm able to provide some type of solution or options to some of the challenges that come with the property, whether that's selling it quickly so that you can unlock the equity for state debt or inheritance, or even trying to hold on to it and stabilize it and keep it in the family through different legal instruments like trust and other things that are going to protect the wealth that has been established in your family. So let's take a look. We're going to look at 7 tips for actually doing and completing the form AOC 505, the inventory. All right. So let's see. Step one. Oh, this is so fancy right here. All right. Gather all information. Make sure that you have some type of way that you're essentially, uh, when I said take 2 steps back, one of those steps was already mentioning about not being an attorney or financial advisor. The other was just explaining what probate is. Probate is the process of settling the affairs of someone who's passed away. When someone dies, there has to be a legal way to settle the debt, settle the estate, and settle the property that's involved is still in a person's name, and probate is that process. All right. And so gathering information, all the financials, all the assets, all the bank accounts, the stock that they may own, the accounts they own in joint, the deeds to the cars, the jewelry, all those things need to be gathered. So make sure that you start gathering that um, uh, when you begin the process. There's going to be, when you fill out a form, when you file for probate and take the oath or file for probate, rather in North Carolina, there is going to be a preliminary inventory that's going to help you gather your stuff and know what to get. All right. So gather information also means knowing the actual value of the assets. So when you do that, you're going to categorize the assets, and then the Section 505 should explain to you in clear terms. If you need support, please reach out. I do have a cheat sheet for that directly from the estate's office. I also have a different checklist that allow you to put those in different spaces. So when I say categorize, we're saying categorize, make sure you have bank accounts set up, accounts that are held joint set to get set up, or in one category, personal property in one category, any real property in one category, real property that's actually willed to the estate would also be a part of there. But when you start categorizing these assets, it's going to help you when you're actually doing the inventory, and then later on when you're doing the accounting, it's really going to help you there. Determine the value. Now, there's many ways you can determine the value. And when we say determine the value, it needs to be the time of death value. When that person passed away, how much was the car worth then? You can check Kelly Blue Book and go back and put the date of the passing to find that out. You can even use Zillow for property and take it back to the month and time the person passed away. And they will, I know the Durham County State Office will use Zillow for real property, so houses, land, and stuff like that. So you don't need to go get an appraisal on the property. Save your funds that way. But you need to know the day, the time of death. And then any changes in the value, let's say the stock went up and things of that nature as you're still selling affairs, that will be accounted for during the accounting phase. But make sure you determine the value of the property. And again, this is the next step is listing debts and liabilities. You will have started to file a notice to creditors and those debts will come in. They'll have basically 4 months. You'll run the ad for 4 weeks, 4 consecutive weeks, and then 3 months after that, people will have the opportunity within that 4 month span to reach out to you and say there's debt owed and there's liabilities owed. I wouldn't go knocking and stirring things up. Now, if you're legally obligated, the estate's legally obligated to pay, then of course you need to pay. But I also recommend that when you're listing these debts and liabilities, that you did your job by filling out the notice to creditors, right? So I wouldn't necessarily go seek them out and telling everybody that this person passed away. You did your legal duty as the executor or the administrator by putting it in the approved publication. And also, something that people don't necessarily, or I've noticed people aren't aware of, is you can negotiate the debt down. Many folks will just go ahead and just reduce or just write it off and completely erase the debt that's owed. I've seen that happen with bank accounts. I've seen that happen with some very large debt. I've been able to help people just by just asking the question. It doesn't happen all the time, but they say closed mouths don't get fed. So definitely try to negotiate the debt so that you and your family can keep more of the legacy that's been left behind. All right, and then it's finally prepare the inventory. You can get the forms. You can get the forms from me, which is awesome. I also recommend that you can just go to the North Carolina government site and get the forms there. The reason I like those is because they have a lot of formulas that are already set up in there, and you can just type it in, and the money, well, especially for accounting, but they'll automatically calculate. Yeah, so prepare the inventory. If you need the form, reach out to me. I can send it to you. If you need that. The uh, the cheat sheet, reach out to me as well. Filing, now just know that the filing, it does cost, right? So the the I'm looking at how much it costs. I think the total amount is going to be when you get to part one, when you finish fill out part one, the total fee is going to be point times 0.004. All right. So 4 thousandths of a percent of the total amount, the total value of part one is what's going to be the charge. And it's going to be a minimum of $15. So this really applies to large estates, estates that have more than $20,000 in assets to the person's name. So just be aware of that. So let's say 200,000. I taught second grade, so my math is 200. Alexa, what is $200,000 times 0.004?
200,000 US dollars times 0.004 is 800 US dollars.
That can't be right. It said 800. That doesn't sound right, but you may, that doesn't sound right. Alexa, what is $100,000 times 0.004? Keep it simple.
100,000 US dollars times 0.004 is 400 US
Well,
dollars.
John Brown. Yeah. So $400 is going to be the minimum. Yeah, that's pretty expensive. That really doesn't sound right, but it may be. That may be. So if people have, that's where probate gets pretty expensive. The more assets that you have, or that someone's left behind, the more costly it is. And the challenging thing is that it doesn't even take into account the debt. So you may have $1 million in assets and owe 999,999, whatever. You're still going to be accounted for that 1 million. So definitely make sure while you're living that you actually do the things you need to do to make sure that you can avoid probate. And there's so many tools that you can use to avoid probate. Um, yeah, so reach out to me if you need support that way as well. All right, number seven, of course, keep your detailed records. Make sure you keep account of if you started paying people off or you started selling some of the assets. Make sure you have an account of how much you charge, how much you received. I highly recommend that when you do open the estate, that you go ahead, particularly usually in the bank, that if they had a bank account, go ahead and open an estate account and make sure you do all your work through there. Or you can work with a probate specialist like me and other people out there so that if they're doing the work or if even the attorney better yet is doing the work, it could be charged through one space. It's going to make the tax and the accounting phase so much easier. All right, so Reach out if you want that cheat sheet. Contact me, Courtney at estateproservice.com, or go to estateproservice.com / probate forms. You can get the forms there. I have tons of, I do a lot of content on the inventory and accounting because that seems to be a part that really trips people up, and I can provide some value. Yeah, so I hope this was of value to, as I said. Please connect if you need support, making sure that you can avoid probate in the future. Trust and Wills is an awesome modern tool that helps you easily prepare a comprehensive and inexpensive estate plan that you and your family can really trust and know that you or have everything set up in the right place. So reach out to me because I would love to give you the discount that I have with my relationship with Trust and Wills. Go back and check out some of the old interviews with some of the members of their company. Awesome company. Um, oh yeah, if you're there's of course, if there's real estate involved, we definitely can support you. It doesn't have to just be us buying it. We try to figure out what the best solution is by taking a hands-on approach. All right, so that's a lot right there. I'm going to stop right there. Feel free to reach out to me again. Contact me. This is Courtney at Estate Pro Service. And as I always say, this is the Life in Transitions Experts channel, LITE. Let your light shine. Cheers.